Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, and translation, Although a father, mother, brother or friend may sometimes punish one as a well-wisher, they never punish their subordinate like this. But because you are the most worshipable Lord, I regard the punishment you have given me as most exalted. I think Bali Maharaj is emphasizing that no one is, they're not punishing their subordinate as much as you're punishing me now. This is the really heavy punishment you're giving me. But he thinks, he's very happy about it because he's advanced devotee. This is Srila Prabhupada's purport. Punishment meted out by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is accepted by the devotee as the greatest mercy. Tatenu kampam susamikshamano bunjata evatma kritam vipakam ridvag vapurbiya vidadam namaste jiveti o muktipad sadaya bak. Very famous verse. As translation, one who seeks your compassion and thus tolerates all kinds of adverse conditions due to the karma of his past deeds, and who engages always in your devotional service with his mind, words and body, and who always offers obeisances to you, is certainly a bona fide candidate for liberation. Bhagavatam 10:14, text 8. A devotee knows that so-called punishment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is only his favor to correct his devotee and bring him to the right path. Therefore, the punishment awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be compared to even the greatest benefit awarded by one's material father, mother, brother or friend. Om Jnanatimanandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksasun Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Syadaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. This is a very big subject matter. This punishment by God upon the living entities, Krishna. So I thought about it in three different ways that we could discuss it. That is, the ordinary conditioned soul, how he's punished. That's how the beginning Bhagavatam starts, tapatrayan mulanam. That every living entity is suffering in this material world. Threefold miseries of life. Then the second feature is how Krishna seems to punish his devotees, the aspiring devotees in the material world. We'll look at a few examples. Devotees who are trying to reach perfection, everything goes wrong, like that. And then the third category is Krishna's eternal associates. How he appears to punish even his Nityasiddha perfect devotees. So we'll have a look at that. Just get my notes. So that is a lot to go through, so we'll try to get through to 20 past and then we can open it up for discussion. The first thing is this theme of punishment of the conditioned soul. The living entity who's turned away from Krishna. He is forced into the material world to wander amongst the different species of life. And he is suffering the threefold miseries of life in this material world. Srila Prabhupada explains that when this happens, then Krishna, he gives up the conditioned soul unto the care of his illusory energy, unto the care of Maya. And why does he do this? Because Maya acts to reform the soul that has fallen into this world. He said, just like a father, he may give very naughty child to someone to punish under the care of a teacher who may punish the child. So the father, he feels great compassion. He doesn't like to see his child be punished. But he knows that with a little punishment, then the child may rectify his behavior and come to his senses and be a good child. So in the same way, when we want to turn our back on Krishna and enjoy the material world, then we get thrown here into this material universe. What is that? Throwing and covering potency of Maya. Thrown down, covered by two coverings, this subtle body and the material body, and the material universe. Bhumi apo nolo vayo. So this universe is covered by all these material elements, and yaya samohita jiva atmanam tri aparopin mano natam tatkritam chapipajite. That although the living entity is spiritual, he thinks of himself as a product of the material energy, and he begins to enjoy. That's his root issue in this material. At every step, he's bewildered by illusory enjoyment. He's trying to be happy. And but Krishna also provides this world with the remedy. Just like a king sometimes goes to the prison house, he chooses a few good prisoners who he thinks are reformed, who are sincere, and he frees them from the prison. So Krishna comes and speaks Bhagavad Gita to relieve the disease of the living entity. What is his disease? His disease, he's bewildered by the material energy. He's forgotten Krishna. That's the root of his sickness. So there is no cure apart from Krishna consciousness. So Krishna comes in all these different incarnations. He sends his pure devotees, Shaktavesh, and he preaches this Krishna consciousness. And unfortunately, there's so many other spiritual groups who are preaching impersonal philosophy and mundane religion. So the Vedas, they also advise on fruitive activities. Kamebhya parito hare priyataya, kame buddhabhya spriham. And Krishna, he likes people to follow the Vedas. It says in Nectar of the Destruction that even those who are fruitive workers, they're dear to me. They're dear to me. This is how the Bhagavatam starts. Akama, savakama, va, moksha, kama. Whatever desire you have, if you approach Krishna, then this is great. Why is that? That this is encouraged. Because then if they get their desire fulfilled by Krishna, they'll have faith in the word of the real sadhus and they'll become devotees. They get protected from being impersonalists. Because all the demigods, they're also devotees. They're sakam. They're devotees. That's the point. The whole point of the Vedas is to bring you to be a devotee. Then once you're a devotee, you can progress by practicing sadhana bhakti. So unfortunately, everyone is, apart from the devotees, are impersonalists. And the difficulty is they think we're impersonalists too. They think, oh yeah, you worship Krishna, we worship Shiva, we worship the Brahman. But it's all Brahman. Krishna says, Avajananti mam muda. They think my body is material and beyond me is the light. So our family business is to preach this, against this impersonalism and voidism. And of course some pious people, they'll come. Krishna says they're very dear to me also. Prabhupada says in the purport to 718, it is not that the devotees who are less complete in knowledge are not dear to the Lord. The Lord says that all are magnanimous, because anyone who comes to the Lord for any purpose is called a Mahatma, or great soul. The devotees who want some benefit out of devotional service are accepted by the Lord, because there is an exchange of affection. So there's the key issue. The whole point of Krishna consciousness is to develop genuine attachment and affection to Krishna. So that can be attained through the process of sadhana. So if one is pious and accepts the personality of Godhead, there is every chance that one day he will take to the path of sadhana. And sadhana means how to improve upon one's attachment to Krishna. That is the whole process. Prabhupada said, first you respect the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then we have all this knowledge that Krishna, He's the air that you breathe. He becomes the sun so that you can see things. He takes the form of ether so you can hear things. He takes the form of water so you can taste things. So He gives us this illusory energy to take on the form of enjoyers. But it's all actually just like a dream. And all the time we are suffering. Janma, Mrityu, Jara Vyadi. So Krishna doesn't like this suffering of the souls. He feels compassion. And in various incarnations He comes, in various ages, to teach just the right way to bring people to the process of Krishna consciousness. Indirectly, directly. Directly, He preaches Krishna consciousness in the Bhagavad Gita. Indirectly, like in Lord Buddha's incarnation, He'll teach an indirect philosophy to gradually lift people away from sin. Paritranaya sadhunam. As Shankaracharya, he directly opposes, he sends Lord Shiva, his devotee, he directly opposes Vaishnava philosophy, but there's some purpose in it. Prabhupada said on a deeper level, there is no difference between all these teachings, and there's actually a gradual elevation. Buddha says, give up material desire. So Jesus Christ says there's a kingdom of God. Shankaracharya said this material world is false. So all these are correct steps onto the path of gradual elevation to Krishna consciousness. But as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he not only teaches pure devotional service, which is the whole subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, but he also teaches the most intimate Braj Bhakti. Therefore he's called the most kindest avatar. And he's inaugurated this Vedic movement of Sankirtan, and the whole point of everything is to preach to the conditioned souls, make them devotees. Because only Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's form, Krishna's name, Krishna's qualities have the power to awaken the soul to its real position. We're not preaching liberation from the material world. Liberation from the material world is simply relief from suffering. You're all suffering, so you take the spiritual life and you get relief. Prabhupada says in the beginning of our spiritual life there's some hint of impersonalism. Because we want relief. We want to just, this world was suffering. It's so difficult. Let me just switch it off, get some shanti, peace, relief. But this is not the actual ultimate benefit. This is compared to a tiny footprint of a calf. If a calf leaves a footprint, a small puddle. This is how much bliss Brahmananda gives compared to the ocean of Prema Bhakti. So that is the tattva, the conditioned soul, how he's here. He's suffering. Don't think anyone's rich man, poor man, they're all suffering. If I take a flight to India, I have to sit on the aeroplane for 9 hours. And the man in first class, upper class, virgin upper class, he's also sitting in first class. He's sitting for 9 hours. No difference. No difference. He has to sit there. Maybe he can lie down a bit further. But he'll get, same problem. Birth, death. He has to grow old and die. We should understand the Lord's compassion. This death, old age, the real things people suffer. We have to be very compassionate, and to ourselves also. If we practice compassion to ourselves and everyone around us, then we'll give. And as we grow old, we become wiser. We see how difficult life is. Our relatives start to die, our friends start to die. Then we can understand what really is Prabhupada's mission, to save us from these things. Not to give us a nice life of happiness. This is natural byproduct. But Krishna then, he'll take care of the devotee, and this theme that we're on is the punishment. So now we'll see how Krishna sometimes punishes devotees, his aspiring devotees, in order to bring them closer. Prabhupada says that the material energy acts in a personal way. That each devotee, Krishna takes care of every single devotee from every stage of their devotional life. And Prabhupada says that the devotee suffers, this is the theme of the verse. Yudhisthira Maharaj asks Krishna or Narada Muni, Yasyam Manugran, that I take away. He's asking, why do devotees suffer? Bhishma Dev, when he's on his deathbed, he says, how is it that the Supreme Lord has caused the suffering of Arjuna, the Pandavas, and Bhima? How is it that they've suffered, but they're associates of God? How is it possible? They're personally associating with Krishna. And Queen Kunti, then she gives this prayer, Janmaishwarya Sruta Sribi Edamana Madapuman. The next bit, Twamakinchana Gocharan Abadatum Vai Swamak. She says, one who is trying to improve oneself materially, trying for nice material situation, then they cannot call out to the Lord from the core of their heart. So let all these sufferings come. So Krishna is going to work on us in such a way that we come to this point, chanting Hare Krishna with full sincerity, full surrender. So there may be some suffering in your life. That is to be expected. This is Krishna's special favor. Bharat Maharaj, he was in Bhava Bhakti. You know that we go through these different stages. Anatana Vritti, Nista, Asakti, Ruchi. There you get taste for Krishna consciousness. Avyata Kalat Vam Viraktiramana Shunyava Shabanda Samutkante Namagana Sadarichi Asaktas Tadgunakyane Pritis Tadvasati Stale. These 9 symptoms of Bhava Bhakti. First one, Avyata Kalat Vam, doesn't want to waste any time. Viraktiramana Shunyata, he's detached from all material things. He's not interested in material things. He's very tolerant. Namagana Siddharichi, he gets taste. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. More and more association of Krishna, he likes it. He likes to glorify Krishna. Krishna's so beautiful, Krishna's so wonderful. Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's incarnations, Krishna's plenary expansions, Krishna's mercy, Krishna's punishment on his devotees is glorious. Just like Bharat Maharaj, he was in this Bhav Bhakti. Just like you're sitting here now, here in Bhagavatam class, seeing beautiful deities. It's nice lifestyle, isn't it nice? Yeah, it's beautiful. It's the best. You're sitting here, it's very nice. But you don't know where you'll be in 10 years, 15 years. You don't know what will happen. So you have to take every moment very nicely. So Bharat Maharaj there, he's in ecstasy, worshipping Krishna. He made a deity in the forest. He's feeling so much ecstasy. He's completely absorbed. Next minute, he's in the body of a deer. Right? Some little mistake he made, attachment. He had the same affection for the deer that the gopis have for Krishna. He was thinking, where's this deer gone? Oh, here he is. And he was all in this bath for the deer. So when he left his body, he took birth as a deer. So this apparent punishment by Krishna, he's Bhava Bhakta, he's a great devotee. This whole planet is named after him. Now he's in the body of a deer. So Prabhupada explains that even if you commit something very bad, you have to take birth as an animal, Krishna will remind you. Apurva Abhyasena, Purva Abhyas. Abhyas means practice. So by previous practice, one automatically becomes attracted to Krishna consciousness. Purva Abhyasena, Teneve Hidayosha. This is, sometimes I heard one devotee said, all the Western devotees, they're all misfits, Someone said that to me recently. That's how we, I said, but this is Krishna's mercy. If I've been born in a good family, good parents, lot of money, career, I would never have been able to sit and live this brahmachari lifestyle, right? Generally we come because we're smashed by the material modes. We're born in terrible families, some big problems. We suffer as teenagers. We don't like the material world. We're looking for relief. So, this is Krishna's mercy. We have to see like that. Sometimes devotees go through terrible things. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you'll find Prabhupada's purport that even if the devotee is callous to the ordinary events, he may suffer, they lose a close relative, close friend. He suffers, but he's not neglectful of his spiritual life. He doesn't blame Krishna. Oh, just like, my mother's getting old now, she's going to die. It's going to be difficult. We all have to go through this. But we're never neglectful of our Krishna consciousness. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. This is this verse, that one tolerates all problems and continues to think of Krishna, offer respectful obeisance to Krishna, do some service to Krishna, and chant Hare Krishna. And here. So we were talking about the 9 symptoms. Namagana Siddharuchi. He likes to live in a holy place. So this Bhaktivedanta Manadham is a holy place. If you like to come here, see the deity. This will all awaken devotion. And devotional service is the goal and the process. It's the sadhana and the sajja. And it's not dependent on transcendental knowledge. Sometimes we think, Shishivara Gokulananda Ki Jai. Sometimes we think we emphasize too much education. Someone's very intelligent, he can attain devotional service. We get a lot of education. But actually it's the other way around. Devotional service is, transcendental knowledge is dependent on devotional service. It awakens in the heart. Jagai Madai, when Lord Nityananda touched Madai, then he started to offer all these prayers. You were Vamanadev, you were Varaha, you were Nasinga, and he's offering all these eloquent prayers. Similarly, that Brahmin who was illiterate, he was reading Bhagavad Gita and crying, but he couldn't read. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says he understands, because he awakened devotional service from within his heart. Gaura Das Babaji was illiterate by material standards. And who's his disciple? One of the greatest scholars of the 20th century, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So it's not depend on education. We do service and hear from the devotees, chant Hare Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sava Siddhi Hoy. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitti Sabhuka Boinoi. It's already there, dormant in the heart. And by sparsha, by touching, by hearing about Krishna, then one associates with Krishna. So this devotion will awaken. What is that verse? I can't remember. Okay, so Bharat Maharaj, he's an example of one who was apparently punished by Krishna. Maharaj, in his lovely class yesterday, mentioned Narada Muni. You know, his mother, he was just had his mother with him, and she was bitten by a snake, and through that process of tribulation, he got association, and he went off to find Krishna. He became a Siddha Purush, perfect person. Like that. So, Krishna's punishment of his eternal associates in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Junior Haridas, is that? Yeah. So he was slightly interested to associate with a young girl when he met her mother, but because he was a sannyasi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strict, so severe, banished him from his association. Chaitanya Haridas, he committed suicide. And then in this beautiful Gandharva form, some ethereal form, he was chanting Hare Krishna. And by that chanting of the holy name, he atoned for all his offense, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him full mercy. This was very confidential pastime. Then Krishnadas, when Lord Chaitanya went traveling all over India, he had one servant with him. The devotee said, please take one servant. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was quite reluctant, but he took him. So when they went somewhere in South India, these gypsies came and they tricked him with women, beautiful women. And he went off. So Mahaprabhu went, my servant, where is he? He came into the camp. The gypsies tried to attack him with weapons. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just, all the weapons then turned against the gypsies and cut them all to pieces. He grabbed Krishnadas by the hair, let's get out of here. Saved him. So they continued their traveling. When they arrived in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called the devotees. He said, this Krishnadas, just see what he did. Banished from my association. So Krishnadas is just heartbroken. And then the devotees, they tried to plead with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to forgive him. And eventually they give him some service that he could take messages to Navadvip, to Sachimata and the devotees who are in Navadvip. So Srila Prabhupada explains that the devotees are more kind than Krishna. See, they're more kind than Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is strict like that. He wants to set an example. Srila Prabhupada was also very strict, very heavy. He criticized everything except pure devotional service. All impersonalists, mundane religionists, yogis. He didn't compromise. Sometimes we had conversation with great yogis. He wouldn't even let them finish their sentence. No. Only Krishna consciousness is of value. Because the soul belongs to Krishna. The soul doesn't belong to anything else. The soul is Krishna's. Mamai Vangsa. He's an angsa, part of Krishna. He's meant for Krishna's service. And when he comes into this material world, his service attitude is reversed. Juxtaposition. It's a good word. Reversed. He becomes Krishna's, he becomes the enjoyer. So when you preach, we're not even allowed to use this word now, but when you spread Krishna consciousness, you'll find that three things the materialists, they don't like. That you have to eventually become free from sex life, they don't like that. You have to become a servant of God, they don't like that. And you have to die. Oh, don't talk about that. These three things are like poison in their heart because they're attached. So we have to be compassionate to them, and we don't want to get into arguments with anyone. We can't be too heavy on everyone's an impersonalist apart from the devotees. And our family line is that we don't like impersonalists. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he visited, Nityananda said, come, one day they were wandering around Navadvip. And when they were wandering around Navadvip, the demigods were observing them. And who are these two personalities on earth? And they think, maybe we're in earth, and that's the heavenly, they think earth's the heavenly planet. These two moons, I've never seen two moons together. Lord Brahma, he became pleased. They look at Krishna's looking at my creation and enjoying it. So they're wandering around Navadvip. Lord Nityananda said, let us go and see this sannyasi. He lives with his wife in a house. So they went to see the sannyasi. The sannyasi greeted Lord Chaitanya. He said, may you attain wealth and a beautiful wife. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what kind of blessing is this? You should bless me to attain Krishna. The sannyasi thinks, wow, he's crazy, this guy. And he thinks, oh, Nityananda must have contaminated him. And then Nityananda spoke some sweet words to pacify him. So the sannyasi was, okay, you come, go bathe in the Ganges, come back, I'll make you some fruit. So then they came, they ate some fruit, the sannyasi served them. Then he said to Nityananda, Ananda? Nityananda says, what's this? Yeah, whatever. Nityananda don't care. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned to Nityananda and said, what is this, Anand? Nityananda says, wine. He's going to bring us some liquor. So Chaitanya just got up, chanted some mantras for purification, and immediately run off into the Ganges. And Nityananda followed him. Then they floated in the Ganges. It's described they looked like Ananta and Mahavishnu floating in the Ganges. And this is the next punishment that I want to talk about. I'll finish with it. This is practically one of the most esoteric. There's two more punishments I will speak. Just very last one after this one. I'll just touch on it. So, Advaita Acharya. Now, who is Advaita Acharya? He's Mahavishnu. Sometimes he's considered a combination of Shiva and Mahavishnu. You know, Vishnu doesn't touch Maya. Krishna, he's all spirit. He cannot touch Maya. So he glances. And Krishna, Shiva, then takes that glance, impregnates his consort, Mahamaya Durga Devi, and builds this fortress to trap all the conditioned souls. So this Mahavishnu, Sadashiva combined, he's Advaita Acharya. Just see, if we stand above the puddle is very small for us. But for an ant, it's like an ocean. So Mahavishnu, he's so powerful that from every pore of his skin, one universe is coming. He's just see. Now, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's this esoteric thing that Krishna's expansions, they relish the mood or the opportunity to serve Krishna more than they want to display their godhood, their power, their omnipotence. They want to taste Krishna's service. So Mahavishnu, one time he stole all them brahmanas, you know the story. The brahmanas' babies, one after another. So then, it's a long story, but eventually Arjuna and Krishna enter into the causal ocean. They meet Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu says, you know, I just stole all them Brahmins' children so I could have your darshan, see you, Krishna. So this Advaita Acharya, he's this personality. So when he called Mahaprabhu from the spiritual world, please come, he was suffering. Why was he suffering? Because so many non-devotees had, Navadvip was a center of learning, so many jnanis and impersonalists. So Advaita Acharya, in suffering, he called Krishna, you please come. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and eventually. So in the past time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always offering his respects to Advaita Acharya, because he's playing the part of an ordinary human being, and Advaita Acharya is very senior to him. So Advaita Acharya is very, very unhappy in his heart. He wanted to be Chaitanya Das. In Chaitanya Leela, everyone is Chaitanya Das. There is no other relationship. Everyone is servant of Lord Chaitanya. So Advaita Acharya is feeling very unhappy. And he's thinking, how can I change this situation? One time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fainted in the Sankirtan parties at Srivas Thakur's house, Advaita took the dust of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry and upset. So Advaita was suffering. So he had one idea. Let me preach Gyan. Let me preach it as better than bhakti. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found out. And they floated down the Ganges to see Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya saw them coming, he knew what was going to happen. And he's like rocking back and forth, speaking Gyan. Gyan is supreme. Without knowledge, how will you understand anything? And he was all in this path of teaching Gyan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came super angry, dragged him off the Vyasasan. He says, don't you know you called me? I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am Nrsimha. I am Vamana. I am Varaha. Now I've come. You called me brought me from the spiritual world to teach bhakti. And now you're teaching this Gyan. And he beat him physically. And Advaita Acharya's wife, although she's a pure devotee, she was very distraught, asking him to stop. And Nityananda was smiling. And Haridas Thakur was praying. He was a bit frightened. So then after Mahaprabhu beat him, Advaita Acharya became full of ecstasy and began to dance. Then they all took prasad, and there were so many other pastimes. So this special punishment, special relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya, these are very advanced, most advanced pastimes actually. And last punishment we could mention is Krishna's most advanced devotees. Because all devotees are absolute, but in the Brihad Bhagavatam Rita you'll find this list, who's more advanced, who's more. Narada Muni wants to meet the most advanced devotee. So every devotee he goes to, the devotee says, no, I'm not the most advanced, you go see this other guy. So then there's Prahlad, Hanuman, Uddhava, and the Pandavas. Uddhava's actually, before the Gopis, the highest. And this is also mentioned in Nectar of Instruction, Karmabhyo Paratehare. Tebhyo Jnanas Vimukti Mukti Bharama Premeka Nistas Tata Radha. Anyway, so this Gopis are the highest devotees. They're the ones who have the most love for Krishna. So one night Krishna, he's playing his flute. The full moon night, Gopis, they give up everything. They give up their family connections, the risk of their elders, all their without any fear, with not caring for any retribution. They went off. They left their homes and they went to meet Krishna. Then what happened? Krishna just left, disappeared in the middle of the party, and left them all broken-hearted. So this seems to be apparent punishment, and the gopis were very upset. So when Krishna came back after some time, then they questioned him. Krishna, why did you reciprocate with us? Why did you disappear and leave us? What kind of person are you? This is their question. They had a court. Krishna was subject to this investigation. So anyway, it's a very developed story, but Krishna basically says that he sometimes abandons his devotee, or he takes away this taste. You come to see Radha Krishna, Radha Gokulananda, some mornings you're jumping, you're in ecstasy, you're happy, some mornings not, right? So Krishna, he takes away this Shakti, Bhakti Shakti, and leaves a devotee struggling. Krishna says, when I do it, I don't like to do it. I don't like to see my devotee happy. I want my devotee to be happy, free from fear, free from distress. But he does it for our benefit. He does it for our benefit, because when we lose that feeling of happiness, when we lose our ecstasy, then we will engage in the penance, and this penance purifies the heart. And this actually when we prove ourselves to Krishna, that we tate nukampam, we wait for His mercy, all the while waiting for His mercy. So He'll do this now, He'll do this in 10 years, He'll do this in 20, 30 years. He'll always do it to you. Even in the spiritual world, He's doing it to intensify the love. And He wants to see that love. Therefore, the separation and union is a constant feature of spiritual life. Constant. So don't want bliss. We want to taste this love, and we want to drown in this ocean of love. In the spiritual world, when they cry, the tears come like rivers. And when they dance, they stay up in the air sometimes. They don't come down. They float. And when they laugh, so all these symptoms are there. The soul has emotions, spiritual emotions. So we want emotions. We want mind and senses to serve Krishna. Don't neglect these. Use them in Krishna's service. Rishikesha Sevanam. Perform devotional service. Be free from fear and lamentation. Krishna is looking after you at every moment. He's never inattentive, even from the beginning. This is the advanced platform here in Bhagavatam class. See, this is sadhana. Pious people come, but they won't perform sadhana. And what is the first item of sadhana? Guru Ashraya, you must take Guru, surrender to Guru, like that. They're the first three actually in the 64 items of Nectar of Instruction, devotion, Nectar of Devotion. So this is our business, to sadhana bhakti. This is the Madhyam platform. And this is and here in Srimad Bhagavatam is the first and most important. Shravanam Kirtanam. Even if you come to Bhagavatam class, those in the mode of ignorance are benefited. Those in the mode of passion are benefited. Those in the mode of goodness are benefited. And the transcendental devotees there, Satam Prasangam Mambhavi, Bhavanti Rasayana Kata. This is all nectar for them. Even if the speaker's like me, not so good, still there's benefit. As long as the speaker is sincere. Like that. Always benefit. So much benefit. It'll go into the heart, and in 10 years you'll begin to 20 of the fruit of this Bhagavatam, this Amrita, this nectar. It'll in your heart and come out. Okay, so I'll stop there. Sorry, I just went a bit over.